What's up guys, it's Shisui. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about my thoughts on Wano Act 1.
You thinking ain't doing no more favors. Never need a nigga just to make me famous. Lil nigga flow go crazy, and them other niggas can't tame it. Flame it, all of the niggas that doubt it. All y'all niggas some cowards, all y'all niggas step up and get devoured. 6 feet deep with a bouquet of flowers. Tell me what am I supposed to do? Cause respect for mine is so overdue. I'm the best in it, just pay attention, take a closer view, cause what I'm supposed to do.
So, we have finally just finished up with Wano Act 1, a total of 13 quick chapters. Never mind about Wano being foreshadowed since the dawn of time, or the massive build-up One Piece editor Naito has been doing for this arc. We are currently in Act 2, so I thought it'd be appropriate to do a video discussing the opening act of Wano. Something I think later down the road will be key to the actual plot of the story. We always tend to be more focused on the current events and the climax of the arc. It's essential that we understand the setup because that information is vital to understanding what Oda is trying to convey. It's fun to criticize and discuss the favorite mangas we read. I do believe it's necessary to stick to the things we relish, but if you stuck around this far into the story of One Piece, there has to be a fine line, a middle ground, where you have to allow the mangaka Ichiro Oda to develop the story he writes and appreciate it for what it is. Wano opens up with these aesthetically well-illustrated double-page spreads, with Luffy waking up alone on the beach without his crew. Honestly, although this is something that has been repeated in several arcs, in particular Zoe and Amazon Lily, this is something Oda does well. I love when Luffy is alone, exploring and interacting with characters, the smell of adventure, the beginning of a great arc. As the old saying goes, trouble just seems to find you. Poor Luffy, but he isn't the one to feel pity for, considering Oda takes the time to showcase subtle improvements in his combat abilities. From meeting Otama, reintroductions to supernovas, Basil Hawkins, an ex-Drake, a bladesmith, Law, Zoro, and company, and even what Ace was up to when he was on this island, the first 5 chapters seem to do a pretty good job on painting the landscape and citizens of Wano. After a plethora of silly smile devil fruits, sumo wrestling, Lady Kiku, knockout punches, and sword slashes with a butter knife, we're thrown into the land of samurai further with a huge revealing twist on chapter 9:19, The Ruins of Odin Castle. I don't think anyone expected this, but when Luffy reunited with everyone, he's in for a bit of a shock when he hears that the story of Kinemon and company and how far they've come in their journey of fates. I won't forget reading this chapter because everyone's tensions was already at an all-time high from the previous chapter reveal. Sucked in and glued to our seats, Oda delivers with stellar chapter and set up for the reintroduction of Odin in his past history. Makes you ask questions like, where's Momonosuke's sister? How exactly did Lady Toki perish? How did Orochi force the Kazuki clan out and successfully take over as shogun? After laying down the plan of execution and contingency, we are introduced into one of the characters I've really been enjoying. Ashura Doji, aka Shutenmaru. A few clashes with Drac the Drum, and this man straight up pulls a Dante and Devilman cries his ass into the next verse. And we get to the next ridiculous chapter of Wano. Shenron, aka Mr. Kaido himself, appearing through the clouds on a mission to defeat those brats, quote unquote. After Luffy assesses that he should prevent Kaido from destroying the town, Kaido unleashes a wave of energy at the ruins. The next thing we see is Luffy punching Kaido,
Fight me,
Gear 3rd, and the community gets torn between Asspole and Kaido's drunk. After hearing of Otama and what transpired, Luffy goes Gear 4th and releases an onslaught of Kong organs, which he seems to have the upper hand. That is until Luffy proceeds to get smacked into the starry night sky, KO'd in one hit by the Yongo Kaido.
You've much yet to learn.
The next thing we get is a reveal of Odin and Kid having conquers Haki, Luffy getting thrown into jail with Kid, introduction of the remaining calamities, and some lurking threats that may become potential allies. I've been reading One Piece since 2012, starting with the Marineford arc. Honestly, there have been a lot of arcs, but I haven't been this excited for a setup in a long time, excluding Zoe and Reverie. Luffy isn't ready to face a Yonko. He's still rather inexperienced, and hopefully this will serve as a wake-up call for him. I'm still excited to see his interactions with Kid and the next setup into that endeavor. Remember, at the end of the day, One Piece is a story-driven series. And I feel like we've been waiting for this for 20 years. The excitement is at an all-time high. Now, I've seen quite a few YouTubers and discussions talking about pacing. As I said before, I want to remind you, Act 1 is only 14 chapters. A lot of people have high expectations, mainly because we're preparing for the Kaido War. And also because we have the Straw Hats reuniting, and many possible setups with the Kozuki clan, Odin, Momonosuke, Kaido, and the Supernovas, as well as an appearance of potentially Big Mom and Blackbeard. Now, I'm not a theorist, but even after seeing all these videos, it's very hard to speculate on what Oda is going to do next. Though the style of Wano is illustrated and takes a lot of inspiration from Kabuki's Japanese classic drama plays. The story of 47 Ronin, Cherry Trees, the story from an exile from Kyoto are a few examples, entertainment being the main driving force. Usually each play consists of 5 acts, introducing characters and plot as the first step, the next 3 acts corresponding to speeding up events, accumulating almost always in a great moment of drama or tragedy in the 3rd act, and possibly a battle in the 2nd or 4th acts. The final act corresponding to Kyo is almost always short, providing a quick and satisfying conclusion. While Jiruri plays tend to have serious, emotional, dramatic, and organized plots, plays written specifically for Kabuki generally have looser, sillier plots. Plots are usually based on historical events, warm-hearted dramas, moral conflicts, love stories, tales of tragedy, a conspiracy, or other well-known stories. A unique feature of a Kabuki performance is that what is on show is often only part of the entire story. A lot of hidden scenes, shadow figures, trapdoors, twists, and of course, distractions. Now, people spend a lot of weeks talking about power scaling and potential verse matchups. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy these discussions with friends on social media platforms and voice chats, but for videos, I find that a medium that is often not talked about are themes. Themes express the intended lesson, conclusion, message, or point of view of the author. Themes connect all the parts of the story, such as characters, plot, problems, settings, and events. A theme keeps the writer on point. Major or minor, it's the plot points of the literary work. Now for Wano, pollution, oppression, poverty, and propaganda are some of the messages sprinkled throughout the chapters we've been reading week to week. There have already been some rather dark moments in Act 1 already. In a recent SBS, it was stated that Kaido was more of a gangster type than a pirate. Now we're not sure how much this trait will get flushed out in the story. Until we see how much influence Kaido has, will depend on the dynamic between him and Orochi. But I'll wager with the alarming connections to feudal Japan and the popularity amongst Japan, this act will explore and touch upon a lot of those subjects. Wano has loads of potential and possibility to be one of the best, if not the best arcs of the series, if Oda does it right. Not a series, so I'm not going to speculate as to what's going to happen, what is to come to be. It isn't a topic I do well in, but I'm sure we can expect parallels from Marineford as well as Thriller Bark. Wano Act 2 has a lot to live up to, but I'm keeping an open mind and looking forward to everything that comes into fruition. I wish Oda all the success and will continue to my support of the series. To my viewers, have patience that Oda will deliver. Hope you guys liked that intro. It was done by a buddy of mine whose channel I'll link down below. Okay guys, that's going to do it for me today. Like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And as always, you can find me in the Discord. I'll link, and stay tuned for my next videos. Slide.
watch it smell like